Hey, I'm Rochelle. I'm the beauty and the comedic relief.
And I'm Bridget, the brains of the operation.
Come with us across Alberta where we show you some of the best people and places.
There might be some mess-ups and dumb jokes along the way, but we promise it'll be a lot of fun.
Hi! I never know how to start it.
Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today, we're going to
Kind ice cream.
I'm so excited. I love ice cream.
Yeah.
Fun fact about us, we used to work at Dairy Queen for how long did you work there? I worked there for 4 years.
Me too.
Look at
For
us.
5 years.
Look at us. So really excited to get back to the ice cream world.
Truthfully. It's gonna be a fun time though.
Come on in!
My name's Tyler. I'm the store manager here at our Highlands location of Kind Ice Cream.
And what made you want to work at Kind?
As a customer, I always loved coming here. Never had a bad experience. Coming here, always met with lots of welcoming vibes and lots of just good vibes overall. Definitely somewhere that's very welcoming for lots of different types of people. It's the best part of your day. So something that kind of drew me to it for sure. And yeah, just being able to provide that now for people. So
That's amazing. And how long have you worked here?
I've been here just shy of 9 months, I believe. Yeah. So started at kind of the end of last year's busy season. So yeah.
And do you know where the name Kind originated from?
Yeah, there's a few avenues that the owners had kind of came from with that. Basically, the first one just being it's part of our core values, just be kind. Very much at the root of everything that we do here. And I mean, secondly, we have a lot of different kinds of ice cream, so definitely another avenue. So yeah.
That's so cute. I love it. And what would you say is the best part of your job?
Kind of like I said, being the best part of people's day. You come in, you see a lot of first dates, family events, things of that nature, like just coming for dessert after and stuff like that. So it's hard not to put a smile on someone's face here with our products. So yeah, it's definitely nice to be part of people's days. So.
And do you have one experience with a customer that you just distinctly remember, whether it was a first date or a family come in?
We've had a couple wedding parties come by. Yeah, so we have either kind of right after the ceremony sneak in before they do photos and stuff like that. So yeah, it's kind of cool seeing them all come in in the midst of one of the busier days of their lives to kind of just take a minute and just breathe and just enjoy some ice cream before they get to go spend more time with their loved ones. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's so sweet that this is the space that they feel comfortable coming to and making a little pit stop at.
Totally.
I mean, who doesn't love ice cream?
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
What would you say sets you apart from other ice cream shops?
I take a lot of pride in the fact that everything that we do is homegrown, homemade. So we have a production kitchen located in Edmonton as well. All of our recipes are made in-house, things of that nature. So yeah, we definitely take a lot of pride in it being homemade. Yeah, and I think we're a great level of adventurous with our flavor profiles, I guess. Yeah, so we got a lot of keeping people on their toes, lots of classics that come back, that sort of thing. Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I think we take pride in is the fact that it's really homemade and it's Edmonton ice cream for Edmontonians. So yeah,
that's awesome. And I think too, because I come here a lot. Well, not this location in specifics, but I've been here a couple times with my sister, and my sister has countless allergies and is also lactose intolerant.
Yep.
So she loves this place because there's actually flavors of ice cream that she can eat, and it's just it's awesome.
Yeah.
And so, what is the craziest ice cream flavor you've ever had?
It's actually just a few months ago. So we did a collab with another local business here, local small business, and we did a everything in lox bagel ice cream. Yeah. So yeah, it had the garlic, the onions, the lox, everything in it. Yeah. So it was we did it for one day as a feature. It was a Saturday, and lots of people got pretty curious about it. So yeah, it was pretty wild, but something that you would not think would be the best ice cream flavor, but it turned out to be actually pretty tasty. I have to admit, it was actually not bad. I willingly was eating it. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
That would definitely be one that as you said, like you wouldn't expect it to be very good. Like when you said that, I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
But the fact that people were trying it and you're like, this isn't bad. You must have, someone did something right. That's
Yes,
for sure.
yeah, a lot of cautious optimism was what I was trying to push. Yeah, it's like, doesn't sound the greatest, but yeah, once people were trying it, it surprised a lot of people. So.
That's awesome. And so you said you partnered with a local business for that one. Do you partner often with local businesses?
Yeah, we definitely try to. I mean, we've done lots in the past. We've got lots kind of on the rise coming up here too, and that's something that we definitely enjoy doing, is helping celebrate and kind of collaborate with local small business and empowering amongst us. So yeah, it's definitely something that we are very happy to do and look forward to doing. So.
That's so sweet. And what would you say is your favorite flavor of ice cream that you carry, if you can pick just one?
My personal favorite would definitely be the cookies and sour cream. I'm a sucker for cookies and cream in general, but ours kind of nice little twist with the sour cream in it. It makes it like kind of an Oreo cheesecake. Yeah, so yeah, it's a sweet spot for me. So that's probably my favorite for sure.
That's so interesting. That's the one she's most excited to
Nice.
try. And how do you come up with the different flavors?
A lot of suggestions from our customers. Our production team is also extremely creative, innovative in what they do. We have a lot of staff suggestions as well. We got in our communication channel, we have a whole channel dedicated to just brainstorming ideas. So if you maybe are eating or drinking something and you think, hey, this could be a cool ice cream flavor, like it's definitely thrown out there and we see what sticks. Definitely, like I said, with the collaborations that we do as well, ideas are kind of born that way too. So yeah, it's like we usually try to plan a year in advance, so we have most of 2023 already planned out. But yeah, it's in order to be able to do that, we need to be pretty proactive and forward thinking in terms of what we want to do. So yeah, lots of planning and stuff goes in the background. So
That's awesome. It sounds like a very open. What's the word I want to say? Like a very open stream of communication.
Yeah, totally.
So like 'cause you're getting ideas from everywhere, which I think really allows your customers and your staff to be seen and heard, and also you're pulling ideas from maybe someone who you wouldn't originally expect one from, and then you never know where we're born. So that's so fun.
Yeah, exactly, for sure.
And so, how often do you rotate your flavors? I remember you said you had one just for the day.
Yeah, so we do sometimes like a feature flavor for just a day or a weekend, that sort of thing in the past, but pretty regularly we'll have our always flavors, and then each month we have 3 rotating flavors. So on the first of every month you can expect 3 new flavors to hit the board, one of which will always be vegan or dairy free, and then two of our more sweet green base or whatever they might be. But yeah, so on the first of every month, get a little bit of variety tossed in there. So.
And how do you pick which flavors stay on the menu?
Popularity. There's lots that goes into the logistics on the back end too, in terms of cost and all that kind of stuff. But definitely one of the most important things is obviously how popular it's going to be, and got to give the people what they want, right? So yeah, definitely. For example, our Dunkers ice cream is probably our most popular flavor ever that we've had. So. That's something that we won't take away. Something that always got to keep coming back. So we just had it in April, so it was a fan favorite. Got the people coming through. So, but yeah.
And is there an ice cream flavor that you are wanting to make? An idea that you have?
I was just talking about this with some of my staff the other day. I was like, I'm a sucker for the blue raspberry flavor, even though it's it's not a natural flavor. It's very a manufactured flavor. I just love it so much, and I think it would be cool to try some sort of sorbet or something like that. Yeah, I would say that's just me being very personally a very personal choice or desire, but. Yeah, I'm excited. There's a lot of really cool ones that we're doing this year that I'm really looking forward to. So they're checking some boxes for me. But.
Nice. I also love blue raspberry, so I definitely second that idea. I think you should do it. I was gonna ask if you could share any details about the flavors coming, but you probably can't, right?
I mean, I could give you a little inside scoop. Yeah, so we have a couple favorites coming back for June. So Gay OK is our first one. So obviously with Pride Month and that sort of thing, we're celebrating that community and uplifting that. So we have it's a Fruit Loop cereal milk base and that sort of thing. Yeah, so it's one of my personal favorites for sure. We have Bannock and Prairie Berry as well, so recognizing the Indigenous community and that sort of thing as well through the month of June. Another favorite, that's one of the ones we've typically had kind of on weekends or that sort of thing, but we're bringing it back for a full month for the first time, so we're definitely excited about that. And then we're doing a peach iced tea sorbet, so like a nice refreshing summer flavor. So
Oh
yeah,
my goodness, yummy. Those all sound so good. We'll have to come back after thinking that. Is there one of those that you're most excited for?
I think like the peach iced tea sorbet for me is a big one. I love iced tea as it is. I tried it in the last couple of weeks, like leading up to it coming out here on June 1st. So yeah, I've been looking forward to it. It tastes really, really, really good, and it's super refreshing. So it's something I'm going to be digging into for the summer for sure.
Absolutely. And I also just want to applaud your company for the inclusivity and just kind of actually touching on like June and the month and everything that's going on in it. Because I think, especially being a food-based shop, I guess you could kind of just not really touch on those things because you're not directly related to them in a sense. But I think like it's just awesome to like support and
Yeah, our business is women, queer, Indigenous owned, so it's all stuff that's very like important to us at our roots, and we want to be a welcome and safe space for anybody to come through the doors and feel as though they can express themselves in their truest form. And we try to obviously do what we can to have a little bit of fun with it through our flavors to it, and have people feel seen. So.
That's amazing. And so, what's the biggest challenge you face throughout working?
I would say honestly just the shoulder season, kind of what we call like the fall and the winter. We do stay open all year long, so a lot of our business turns into like selling pints and that sort of thing. It's not as much scoops. Days are a little bit slower, but it gives us such a good chance to be creative, get lots of work done behind the scenes, stuff that we can get done now, so we don't need to worry about it in the summertime when it's busiest. We can really just focus on like our experience for our customers and the quality of our ice cream and that sort of thing. So it's really like kind of like a back to the drawing board period of the year for sure, where we get to do a lot of that critical planning. But definitely like having some slower days is a little bit tougher, but lots can get done still. So
yeah, I imagine, especially with the Edmonton winter.
Yeah.
Sometimes people aren't exactly wanting or needing a scoop of ice cream, but it's always nice to have in the freezer when you're cozy at home, and then you can pull it out for sure. And what has been your biggest success since working at Pint?
Well, I was just a part of our launch of our third location, so that was really fun. So yeah, we've got a third location open downtown now. So yeah, the business grew, some elevated roles and some new obstacles, stuff like that to tackle, but it felt really good being a part of that, and yeah, helping our business grow and flourish and extend to a new branch of our community. Very cool neighborhood. Lots of foot traffic, lots of people walking their dogs, stuff like that. Lots of bike traffic, stuff like that. So something I definitely love about our business is very intentional in terms of where our locations pop up, and we get a chance to really be a part of a community, which is what we try to foster as well.
And so there's the location here in Highlands, and then that location you just mentioned. And where would your other locations be located?
Yeah, so our other location was our original over in the Ritchie neighborhood. So yeah, that's originally where actually our ice cream was made and sold when we first started back 4 years ago, actually. So yeah, it was we quickly outgrew that in a matter of months until we decided there was a need for a little bit more of a larger space to create our ice cream, as it was a bit of a hit. So a good problem to have. But yeah, so we were in the Ritchie neighborhood downtown in the Oliver Exchange building, and then also here in Highlands.
And do you know much about the ice cream? Do you know much about the ice cream making process, or are you more so the front kind of man?
I'll never claim that I'm a pro by any means. Like that, we have our production managers that take care of a lot of that stuff. I've been involved in making some of the ice cream before. Something fun that I did with my onboarding when I first started was just doing a little shift of the kitchen, kind of getting a feel for how it's all done. So familiar, but by no means could I go and teach someone, but we leave it to the pros in the kitchen for that.
Absolutely. Could you speak a little bit to the process of making the ice cream?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's basically, it's set up in a whole bunch of stations. So we have like a churning station, we have a station to, for example, like our key lime pie flavor has a graham crust, it has graham crust pieces all throughout it. So there's for dry goods to be able to like chop them up and then add them to add the inclusions in the churning process. There's a pinting station where we have a machine that helps push out a perfect pint of ice cream into the containers we sent out to the shops. Obviously to make our base, they make it sous vide and stuff like that, so there's a whole station for that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot of like intricacies and complexities with it, but they do a great job of being a nice, well-oiled machine over there, and they get it done. So.
Yeah, definitely a lot of moving parts that I don't think maybe people recognize when they walk away with their scoop of ice cream because it's already all done.
Totally.
But definitely a lot of background work that goes into it. And so we saw the donations tab on your website. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so again, with what we try to do is really give back to the community. It's like I said, it's at the root of kind of what we do. So we actually donate a percentage of proceeds every year as well. So throughout the year, we're always in network. For example, we have the Bannock and Prairie Berry Flavor. We have an organization that we're donating to for the month, where a certain amount of proceeds from all pints sold or and scoops in certain situations, stuff like that, will be sent to the charities. But yeah, just ones that like we hold near and dear, ones that are important to us, ones that we've worked with before, and are kind of involved in causes that we feel strongly about. Yeah, definitely try to be active in that and give back to the community that we're happy to be part of. So.
It's so sweet. Oh my goodness. And so if you could open a kind shop anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
That's a great question. I mean, outside of opening another one here, that would be fun. Just have a little bit more accessibility to people. But I think it'd be fun to open up in another country of some kind. Where specifically? It's a great question. A little on the spot. Maybe Italy. Maybe we'd go take on like the gelato giants. You know, like
go big or go home.
Yeah,
you know?
there you go.
Might
Yeah.
well.
So I don't know. Maybe something like that would be fun.
That would be so cool. Have you ever been to Italy?
I have not. No. One of our owners actually just got back from a family trip there over the summer. So that was, over the spring. So yeah, it was cool living vicariously through the posts we were seeing and the photos that were shared with us. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Lucky owner. Wow.
Yeah.
And so, what do you see in yourself that is reflected in the Kind brand?
I like definitely for me, the inclusivity, the welcoming, like it's kind of just things that I always try to provide to people that I interact with. Being a safe space, allowing someone to feel comfortable in the same room. Always trying to make sure that nobody feels like an outcast in a room at any kind that I'm in. So something that definitely resonated with me was a company that shares that value. Obviously, kindness. I like to think I'm a pretty nice human being, nice kind guy. So yeah, just like a lot of things like resonated with just like personal beliefs and values that I share. So it seems like an easy fit for me.
That makes me so happy to hear about you and the company and like the positive environment you're creating for people. It's like even just the people that have come in, they've all seemed so happy and like seen, and the world is sad sometimes, so it's really nice to have a positive place that people can go and have that good feeling of community.
Absolutely.
And so where do you see Kind in 5 years?
It's been like a big conversation lately, for sure. I mean, we obviously are always thinking expansion. I mean, obviously within means, though. I think some upgrades in our production kitchen to be able to make more and to improve our production process. Maybe another location, like I said, somewhere else in the city. Making it more accessible, things of that nature. In terms of like concrete plans, I don't think there's really any yet, but definitely open to, always open to growth and things that are helping our business better, how we can serve people better, and stuff like that.
So outside of Kind, what do you do? What is your life like outside of
yeah, I mean, I coach sports, lots of sports, basketball mostly, but lots of teams I'm usually coaching year round. So yeah, it's coaching like a traveling team for the summer, so we go to States and all over Canada, stuff like that. So yeah, coaching is a big passion of mine as well. I still play myself. I try try to keep myself in decent shape with the post university career. I played basketball when I was in university, so it's a little hard letting go of something that I had been a part of for so long. So again, it's kind of just ties into the whole give it back thing again, and trying to give kids experience that I was fortunate enough to have as well. So.
That's amazing, and I think too, like sports really may have added to the other morals and values that you spoke to like prior to, because like including people, teamwork. Sports are hard though too, so like good job playing at a university level of like basketball.
Yeah, my body feels it these days for sure.
Oh yeah, I feel that. But no, that's amazing. And so this is my favorite question to ask people. There's no pressure with this question. Every time I ask people, get really anxious and they're like, oh my goodness, this is such a good question. It's really not. But what is the best piece of advice you've received throughout your life?
That's a good one. I feel like I could hit you with 20 different cliches right now, but I'm going to avoid that. I think one of the ones that just resonated the most with me is that you don't know what you don't know. It sounds kind of silly when you first say it, but I mean when you kind of strip it down, it's like if I don't know something, how am I expected to learn that if I'm not asking questions and getting curious? If I can't also assume that someone's just going to know something if I talk to them. So it's a big thing here with when we're bringing on new employees for the summer or things of that nature. Is like it really helps to approach with that mindset through the training. Is like these people might not know what I'm trying to say with this, so it helps me to be a better leader as well. So something that like all encompassing in my life has helped me a lot, and just like deeply resonated with me when I heard it. It's like you just don't know what you don't know, so take the time to ask questions and to seek betterment, and to always like look through that lens as well when teaching and guiding and leading. So.
That's amazing, and I think too, it really speaks to there's like, I feel like there's always this fear of failure and this idea of like, oh no, I have to already know this stuff, but you don't know what you don't know, and as soon as you ask, it kind of like relieves that pressure from you being stressed out about not knowing, and then it creates a better experience for both you and the person that's teaching you, so that way it's, you're able to communicate, everyone's understanding, the vibes are good, like, yeah.
Totally.
And so is there anything else that you wanted to mention about the company, about yourself? Because I think we'll wrap up here and then move on over if there's anything else to talk.
No, we got a great summer coming. Like I said, lots of great flavors. We got a new location, so more places to go. Less of a line maybe at the other two locations now at the third one. So yeah, definitely worth coming and checking out. And yeah, we're always eager and ready to see you. So.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Absolutely, thank you.
Now here we are behind the counter. We're going to make some waffle cones and get a look at some ice cream. So.
Alright, so basically we start off here with, again, a house-made waffle batter. Drop it right on in the middle of the iron there. Push it down. Usually takes about 30 to 40 seconds per waffle cone here. So with a little bit of a pause in between here, but basically things we try to do is just make sure we don't have any overflowing on the side and stuff like that. So just give it time to just really spread out and get cooked here. So we look for a nice like golden brown color. So we got a whole bunch that we're making today, early preparation for the weekend. It's supposed to be pretty nice. So yeah, we'll just kind of wait a little bit here for it. But yeah, our batter's made in-house, so we get batches of this pretty much daily. We're going through a lot of them right now, obviously with being summertime and lots of ice cream being sold. So lots being brought to the shop. So try to make as many as we can. Try to make, I mean, we make anywhere between probably 200 to 500 in a day usually. Yeah, to keep the ice cream flowing. So we get to a point here where it's a nice golden brown color. I'm gonna step right over here. Take one of our rollers here and just feed it through. That's how we get the nice shape. It's all set here. We put it in there to set. That's how you make a waffle cone.
Fun! It smells so good. By the way, no one can smell it, but oh my gosh, yummy.
Yeah. So, it's a pretty repetitive process, but oddly meditating. I always talk about how soothing it is to just stand over these for hours and making waffle cones. It's like free therapy, you know.
It's actually therapy you get paid for.
Yeah, well, I guess, yeah, that's true, even true.
Works out that way.
And we usually get all the irons going at one time here, so it's quick on and off and keeps you busy, so it's definitely nice to pass some time, so, yeah.
I like waffle cones the best, personally. My family always gets ice cream in cups.
Really?
Yeah. What do you get it? You get it in cups?
I get both. So I get the cone, but I get it upside down so I can eat the ice cream. Yeah, a little life hack.
That's smart. People love the waffle cones, so they love that they're made in-house too, so.
Yeah, that's super awesome. This reminds me of, you know, when you go on holidays and you put the waffle thing in and then you flip it.
Yeah, exactly, at the hotel, yeah, for sure.
That's what I'm best at. I'm a pro waffle maker.
At 6 in the morning.
Yeah, so we have always flavors on our menu, so those are ones you can always count on for being here. They're tried and true, our classics. Like I said, we do 3 rotating flavors every month as well. So yeah, they're all kept kind of in this dip here. So we got them at nice set temperatures, so they're nice and scoopable. Different flavors require different levels of temperature to be kept at. So, for example, like the maple bourbon pecan does have a little bit of bourbon in it, so naturally it makes a little bit of a softer flavor as opposed to like chocolate, something that's a little bit more dense, a little bit heavier. So you actually get like a difference in weight when you feel, for example, like a pint of them as well. So they'll feel as though one has more or less, but it's just because of the contents of what's in it. So yeah, we have our small dipping cabinets usually kept a little bit cooler. So for flavors like salted caramel, maple bourbon, a little bit softer naturally, or a little bit like stickier, like salted caramel, helps keep them a little bit more scoopable, so we don't not serving soup, we're serving ice cream. So yeah, so we do, like I said, we have 3 vegan options as well. So our lemon and jammy raspberry, our salted almond fudge, and our jasmine green tea.
They all sound like good flavors too.
Yeah, very good.
I know sometimes you
Like
go somewhere
nasty
and it's
vanilla bean, like that's it.
It's very like simple, but these are fun.
Yeah, totally. So it's some people get a little turned off by the whole vegan adage on the end, but like they're flavors that we all regularly eat anyways, whether we're vegan or not. So yeah, the ice cream is like top notch. I mean, I'm a little bit biased, but it's top notch across the board in my opinion. So.
Cool. And is there like a trick of scooping like the perfect scoop of ice cream?
Not really a trick, just a lot of repetition. So yeah, at first you're gonna feel like you're doing something for the first time, you're learning how to ride a bike or whatever. But I mean, with how many reps we get in a day, summer day, it's pretty easy to get the hang of it pretty quickly. So yeah, I can show you if you'd like, but yeah, it's something that we do so much that it just kind of becomes second nature. But
Do it in your sleep.
totally, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome to our kind review. I've half eaten it because it was gonna fall off, but it's delicious.
It's very good.
I got the maple bourbon pecan, and you can taste the bourbon, so
It's quite
y'all,
delicious.
very, very good.
In the best way possible.
And Rochelle, which flavors did you get?
I got cookies and sour cream, which is really good. It's kind of like cheesecakey. And then I got birthday cake at the bottom.
And I got salted almond fudge at the bottom, but haven't got there yet, so we will let you know.
Really good, really fun. They were super sweet.
Everyone was so nice, and the company is so cute.
Yeah, it's like a whole is really nice. Yeah, go visit your local Kind ice cream.
So yummy, so nice. It was so fun.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today we're super excited because we were inspired by the kindness and the morals and the whole community and environment at Kind Ice Cream. And so we've decided for the rest of this episode to embark on the Kind Project.
So come along with us as we interview different people of different walks of life and discover what kindness means to them.
Thanks.
My name is Bree.
My name's Cody.
Brianna.
Julia. Ryan. And this is Haley.
My full name is John Lowell Butancourt, or aka Jolo.
My name is Braden Jared Geisen.
I'm Natasha.
I'm Gabby.
My name is Logan McCullough.
I'm super passionate about fitness. That's kind of been a big part of my life. And I'm actually training for a fitness competition in September.
So I have a kinesiology degree, and in my free time I really enjoy getting outside, being active, so going like hiking, kayaking, and spending time with my dog.
I'm a 3D animator.
I am 26 and first-time mom. And we are just living our best life right now. I'm an educational assistant too and work with wonderful children all the time who I love.
I'm 26 years old and I'm in Edmonton. Have a full-time job, just got off work.
I'm 22 years old. I work for the government of Alberta. I am an inspector with AGLC. I play hockey, hence the black eye. Had a little bit of an unfortunate mishap, but I'm doing all right.
I'm 23 years old, full-time university student, full-time personal trainer. Yeah.
I'm also 23 years old, just a recent graduate at McEwen, and a behavioral therapist assistant.
I'm a very energetic guy. I'm very social, like a butterfly. I like to have fun, enjoy myself. I'm hardworking, you know. I just indulge myself in life, you know.
So I would say kindness is like doing something out of the kindness of your own heart without expecting anything back from anyone.
I think kindness is just trying to be the best version of yourself and spreading that towards others. Yeah.
Kindness is something that we can learn, and it's a choice that we make to choose to be generous and compassionate and sincere and happy choices. Yes. We're hopefully teaching you to be kind too.
It's pretty hard to define right away in words, because you can really see like actions of kindness, which I think you can just tell right away.
Tough to explain, but I think it's something, it's kind of like seeing a bad paint job on a car. You know it when you see it.
It's when you're helping someone out of your own will, not because you feel like you have to or try to prove something. It's like you want to help them and be kind to them.
I believe kindness is a raw act from the heart.
Kindness is like wherever you look for it. Like you can just find like little things anywhere. I think there's a lot of kindness if you like choose to look for it.
I see kindness a lot of different ways in my day-to-day life, from as simple as someone holding a door open for you, or someone in the front of you at the drive-thru paying for your coffee in the morning, as well as just like in the workplace, just maybe having your colleagues help you finish a project, or if they see that you're having a bad day, getting you like a donut or just something to make you feel a little bit better.
Yeah, just like a little pick-me-up.
When people take the time out of their day to check in on us, that's always very kind and helpful, especially because they don't have to. So taking a thought to check in on others, or if they see someone struggling, like even I appreciate when people like just hold the door open. Like that is a small act of kindness that everyone can do, but not everyone chooses to do.
It can vary like from small to big. So like small acts of kindness would just be smiling, like saying hi, smiling to your coworkers, your friends.
I think it's something in your day-to-day life that you don't truly think about. You don't think about kindness in your day-to-day life, but you see it in just little actions from everyone around you.
They're just like really little things that they don't often come to mind, but they like really make a person's day, I guess.
Everywhere. It can be in the simplest things, from holding a door or asking someone how their day is.
I would probably say my mom. She's a very selfless person. She's always like looking to help people, whether they've wronged her or not. Like, she's always just trying to do the most for other people.
Definitely my mom. And just because of who she is as a person, just in our family, she's like the main head of our family, and she just spreads kindness to everybody.
The kindest person I know is probably my mom. She's just always like really kind and uplifting to me. It doesn't really matter if I'm having a bad day, if she's having a bad day. She's just always trying to make like my day better and trying to help me do the little things to just help me succeed and make my day a good day. So
I'm going to say my mom is the kindest person that I know. She always goes out of her way to make sure that everyone around her is always happy, and she will physically choose to like take time and money and effort and put it towards someone else to make them smile.
Okay, it's gonna be pretty biased. It's gonna be my mom.
Aww. That's been everyone's answer.
Yeah. And then, because I know she might be watching this. No, it's right now, I think the most recent one would be it's biased against my brother. Yeah, he just thinks of like all of the things that he would do for me is something that he just, the first thing he will think of is just again, the well-being of me and how we'll feel, like I'll feel good and he'll feel good. And then yeah, it's my brother.
Oh, that's so sweet. That sounds like you guys have a great relationship.
Very tight.
Nice.
Kindest person I know would have to be, as of late, one of my coworkers. She's a very, her name's Heather. She's a very outgoing person, and she's always the first one to wish someone good morning. She's always the first one to bring you coffee without being asked, without doubts, second thoughts. She's always going to do something to go the extra mile for myself and my coworkers.
Well, that's so sweet. Shout out Heather.
I would probably have to go with my boss, honestly. I've just been watching her for years be selfless to her employees and her community, volunteering. Like, she already doesn't have much to go off of, but she'll give her time and anything she can if it will just make someone else's life a little bit better.
I think the kindest person I know is my grandpa. He helps. He's just so kind to his family, to his friends, to strangers. He always tries to put a smile on people's face and just any way help out in his own way that he can.
I feel there's a lot of very kind people in my life, which I'm very blessed to have.
One of my favorite stories is I was driving by the side of the road and I saw someone who was broken down, needed help changing a tire, so I made it a point to stop and help that person change their tire.
Oh my goodness.
In the pouring rain.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. That's so nice of you.
Yeah.
And you didn't know this person on the...
Not at all, no.
Do you know
Just
how to change a tire?
I do, yeah.
Oh, okay. That's very nice. I'm like,
if it was anything else aside from a tire, I wouldn't be able to help, but...
Gotcha.
I must say I was awfully kind to my sister when we were living in Vancouver together. She was always getting sick and just having to take care of her.
Oh, that's so nice of you. What a good sister.
When I was traveling in Europe, I didn't really know where I was going, and there was a nice stranger that saw, because I was like taking a train, didn't really know where to get off, so a kind stranger asked this kind stranger, and they helped me figure out what stop I wanted to get off at, as well as then took me to their favorite restaurant and bought me dinner.
When I was in elementary school, we're going to go back quite a bit. I was not the most popular kid, especially because I got my glasses really, really young. And that was a big point of like teasing. So I was the only kid in my class with glasses, and everyone always would point that out. And my only friend at the time had moved away to the other side of the country. And so there was a new girl that came in that year. She also had glasses. And that was the start of a beautiful friendship, because instead of going with all the other girls who decided that they wanted to take her under their wing, she decided to come and hang out with me, and we were best friends all of elementary, and I'm really appreciative of her for doing that.
Our mom passed away two years ago, And then basically it's only 3 of us. And then the thing that my mom always told us when me and my brother is that it's only 2 of us. Like after her and my dad, knock on wood, passes away, it's only going to be the siblings, right? And then basically all of what we're doing to each other is for the benefit of each other. We would never try and think of anything that's that'll drag each one of us down. So the act of kindness he did was basically he gave his old car to me.
Aww.
But it's a standard, and I'm driving it right now, and I'm still nervous. It's a free car, I'll take it.
Yeah.
A newer free car, but like it's a standard manual, so.
Oh wow.
Yep.
I'm very sorry for your loss, and I can't drive a standard, so.
Oh, me
that's
too.
That's like the one that's like you have to
I'm
change
shaky.
gears
I'm like
and
this.
stuff. Yeah,
Yep.
Nope. I can barely drive a regular car, whatever it's called, but yeah, driving's not my strong suit.
We try.
Exactly.
When I used to work at a movie theater when I was around 16, 17 years old, a lot of people would come in and, movie prices got more and more expensive as time has gone on. I'm sure everyone knows. But you'd see young children who were given money by their parents, and the money is either A, not enough to afford the movie, or not enough to afford food. And I know I would instruct my staff when I was a supervisor to, if a kid came in, say, listen, you got to let the kid in, you got to give them their ticket, you got to give them their popcorn, because some families are less fortunate, and everyone deserves to have a good time at a theater. Everyone deserves to have those experiences that so many of us have had.
When I was in like a car accident, and like just random bystanders like stopped to make sure I was okay, and like I didn't really know what I was doing, to be honest, like in terms of what had to be done after that, but they like stayed with me and made sure like I got what I needed and everything, and they definitely didn't have to do that and take the time out of their day to help a stranger, but they did, and it was very beneficial to me.
I was gonna say, just while being in school, like more to that K-6 vibe, when, you're just a kid and you don't know what to do, or like you're new to the school. Like I know I've had, when I was in school, being bullied a bit, and like having just random kids come up to me and like greet me and just they saw that how others were treating me, so they just were so kind and letting me hang out with them, and like teachers being kind, just the whole school community just coming in together.
Growing up, I was big into football. Football was a huge thing to me, and it was like my escape from life. And just getting into football was tough. I didn't know anybody. I felt alone. And then I had this older coach named Larry Alexiuk, and he would stay with me after practice just to teach me how to be a better player and be a better leader. And I think that really shaped me who I am today.
Previously, I always thought that kindness was like you do something for someone and they do something for you. But something I've like recently realized is when you do something out of the kindness of your own heart, again, like you're doing it for you, not to expect something back, essentially.
I think it's changed a lot, like during COVID and from being a kid to now, just because when you're younger and a child, you don't really see how awful people can be.
Yeah.
So as you grow up, you just kind of like get jaded a little bit, but you always like try and like push through that and just try and see the goodness in others.
As I finished high school, I went on to university and found that even though universities are big places with lots of different people, there's always lots of people that are still trying to do small acts of kindness in your day-to-day life. So like
becoming a mom has really changed my perception of kindness, because before kindness was a choice that I felt I was making, like actively, like, oh, this is something I can do to be kind to others. Now I'm modeling kindness for somebody else. So I'm a lot more aware of the choices that I'm making, and because I want my daughter to see that and grow up with that and do that eventually as well. So.
Kindness isn't something that I think you can do. I think it's just something you are. You know, it's just you going that extra mile for people, and I think it really hasn't changed. Whether, I mean, the contents of that have changed, whether it's saying good morning to someone or bringing someone coffee in the morning, or if you're out with your friends buying them a pint or something, that's changed from when I was younger. I never did that when I was younger, but it's those actions that have stayed the same. It's those small gestures that have remained the same from when I was younger to now.
100%.
I feel like kindness doesn't change over the years. I feel like it just becomes more aware around you as you get older, because you start to see it more as you start to separate from the world a little bit.
I definitely think so. I think if you surround yourself with like kind people, that just like rubs off on you and it makes you want to be a better person as well.
I do think that's true, yeah.
I do think that kindness is contagious. I think the more kindness you have in your life that you're exposed to, it'll rub off on you, and you can, and in turn, be kinder to others.
I think so. Like, even if it's partly out of obligation, if you see someone else being kind, you're like, oh, I'll pay it forward and do it as well. It's kind of like the Starbucks window order, right? Someone pays for your drink, and you're like, oh, I guess I should do that to the person behind me too. Hopefully they didn't order a $70 thing, but
I agree. Yeah. If I see somebody doing a good deed, example would be just my what was it? I volunteered for this for my girlfriend's high school in Rogers Place, and this one kid just held the door open, and then it's a tiny kid, it's a grade 2 kid, so this is like 7-year-old, and then it's a heavy door in Rogers Place. Held the whole thing for like 25 of us, and I'm like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then he kept doing it all throughout, because he races to the front, and then just does it, and I think he likes it, because I feel like, what do you call it? And then that made other kids want to volunteer to hold the door open. So like a positive role model that's doing acts of kindness can be contagious.
Oh, that's so cute. Kids are adorable. I love that.
I love kids.
I definitely think that's true. Like if someone does something like kind for me in the morning, it automatically makes my day better, and it just makes me want to, like, even unintentionally sometimes, be kind to other people, because I'm just in a better mood that day and like feeling happier and more giving, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is contagious. Just like, you know, someone pays for my $2 Timmy's, and then I'm like, wow, like that's just so nice, puts me in that good mood, that I'm like, oh, I'll just do it next. And it's just like you bring that attitude following you that whole day, like holding the door and just like projecting that off to other people. It's just, yeah, it is contagious, I guess.
Absolutely. Kindness is very contagious.
I wouldn't say so. I would say maybe the opposite. I think that being kind when you're like on your own, when there's no one else watching, could be the hardest part, right? Because there's not like, there's not other people watching you do the kind deeds, essentially.
I don't think so. I think personally for me, whatever you believe in is what you kind of try and stay and steer towards, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So even on the situation, even if being kind is the harder option, I think it's personally easier for me to do because I know that's what's right.
I would say it's probably easier to be kind when someone's watching, because you know someone else is watching you, watching your actions. It's probably harder to be kind when there's no one around, or it's just you and one other person, because there's no one there to like watch you or make you take accountability for your actions.
Yes and no. I think we all have this feeling of like we want to be recognized for our kindness, so some people might act kind to get recognized, which isn't the intent of it, but people might be more so inclined to do that if someone's watching for recognition. But also at the same time, if it's harder to be kind then it would be, I guess, a little bit harder. It's easier to do it when you think you're gaining something out of it.
It does play a factor of like your decision making, if it's like just for show or something. But I'm the kind of guy who always takes things like with a, what do you call it? What's that expression called? But basically, benefit of the doubt, like, oh, he's actually probably just doing this out of the goodness of his heart. And yeah, that's great. Like, it helps them. Maybe probably helps. Because it can also be altruistic, but it can be also beneficial to oneself if somebody's being kind. So I would say it can be hard. It cannot be hard to show kindness in front of people. Not sure.
No, I think it's harder to be not kind when someone's watching. I think people inherently are good-hearted individuals, and I think when people are watching, I think there's a precedent set by others to try and outdo them, and people always want to be number one. People always want to be on top, and I think that leads to a lot of not kind actions from others. So I think it's more difficult because naturally I think we all want to be kind regardless of who's watching.
No, I think it should make no difference. I think it has to do a lot with like who you are as a person, and that shouldn't change if you have an audience or not.
I think even just now, like, because I was in a car accident earlier this month.
Oh my goodness, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. But I was in a car accident and this lady blew through a stop sign. So I think being kind and also having patience, just like any driver on the road, like when you drive now, it's just horrible because people are so impatient. Nobody's willing to take those 10 extra seconds just to be kind and think, oh, I could actually hurt somebody.
I would say there's a few moments where I wish someone would show them kindness. One of them, I guess, is at work. So I've worked as an event supervisor for different like college varsity events. Yeah. So sometimes I wish someone would show them kindness. Would have been, we had one instance where we had a couple patrons get really upset. They might have been a little intoxicated, but they just got really like upset at us because we were trying to enforce the rules. So rather than just trying to be kind to us, understanding that we don't make the rules, we're just having to enforce them, they proceeded to just call us a bunch of vulgar names, throw like their beer on us, as we had to escort them out of the building.
That is terrible.
Again, working at the movie theater in my teenage years, there was a lot of people from a lot of different walks of life, people from a lot of different backgrounds, people who experience different things, and I've had management and I've had coworkers who didn't really believe in going that extra step, going that extra mile for people. I've had bosses who would think of a corporation and a dollar over a person's well-being, whether it was not allowing people to take breaks, whether it was doing very unethical acts in the workplace. I think this one manager in particular, I won't use his name, but he would always see the bottom dollar and was always just more interested in the corporation rather than people's well-being.
Because of your race or how you look, you may have darker features or lighter features, and people will individually attack those things. It's just like, why choose those and to focus on and be rude to them because they may look different or act different, or they're just not fitting your norm, like maybe just not how they grew up, or they just, for whatever reason. And I feel like they could have just chose to be kind than pick on the little things.
The other day there was someone who like cut me off and then was going super slow, and I just was like having a bad day, wasn't having any of it, and then I drove by and they were like super old and like weren't really aware of what was happening. So I think just like thinking before you like choose to react and just speaking with kindness and having your actions like reflect that as well.
Maybe as a kid, just like being nicer to my sisters.
I guess going off of my other example, when I was in school and I got a bit older, unfortunately I didn't make all the same choices that I wish people had made for me when I was younger. And instead of reaching out to a lot of the people that looked like they could have used a friend, I decided to not go that route because I had already experienced that, and I wanted to experience the other side of being the one with lots of friends and a little bit more on the popular end. So I wish I had reached out, because knowing especially the feeling of that, and so I do regret a few of those choices that I made for not being the kindest I could have been to a lot of people.
I'm too used to, for me and my family, I kind of like when something triggers me right away, I'll just go into shouting mode. And then that tends to happen. I've seen it too common because you're too close to your family, you feel comfortable, right? But then, for my dad, for example, he would ask me something, and then for some reason I'm like, why didn't you know this? Blah, blah, blah. I go into like aggressive tone, and then if I took kindness first, then the outcome would have been different. We would not have been shouting. It would have been just a healthy talk kind of thing. So that's one thing I can think of.
There were moments in my life that I'm not entirely proud of, like I'm sure we all have.
Yeah.
But I've had instances where you think irrationally and you yell when you shouldn't have.
Yeah.
I've had arguments with family where you say things you wish you didn't. I think it's just those moments with the people you care about the most, when you say something you really wish you didn't. Whether it was using profanity, whether it was dismissing someone's thoughts and feelings.
Yeah.
I think those moments where I truly regret not being kind.
I think there's like a lot of times, whether it be to like my sister or parents or friends, where maybe something didn't go exactly my way per se earlier in the day, and then kind of the same thing as the kindness being contagious. Like a bad mood is kind of contagious as well, and I'll kind of continue it throughout the day and maybe take it out on people who don't exactly deserve it. And I think that probably happens more than like I'd want it to unintentionally, but yeah.
Yeah, like Tasha said, like I think everyone acts unkind at times, even if you don't mean it, and it's just kind of watching yourself, and like Tasha said, if you're in a bad mood and like you just put that off to others, like it's just as easy to be kind than unkind. So I think everyone is unkind at one point. It's just realizing like how you can control that, or like realize what could that triggered you being like that, and just working on that.
Yes, to an extent. I think there's always like room for improvement, and that's something that I've been trying to work on, is like, again, removing yourself from the scenario and trying to see how like other people view things as well.
I personally am. I just, like I said before, I try and treat everyone the way I'd like to be treated.
Yeah.
So just being patient, being kind, taking those few extra seconds to think about what somebody might be going through.
I think so. I've learned a lot. I grew up a lot. It's very different, like your high school mentality versus your adult mentality, and then also becoming a mom, it's a completely different mind shift. Like, so it's there's a lot of growing up to do, but looking back on it, yeah, it's a big shift for sure.
Others, I would say yes.
I am. I always do my best to think about someone else's situation before I mention something, because I find something maybe not important. Perhaps I find something not of use. Someone else might, and everyone believes and thinks in different ways.
I would say at the moment, yes. Maybe looking back at my younger self, not always. But now I think as you mature, I think you get kind of like a better knowledge of kindness and just how to treat other people, and at least you should, I think, as you mature. So I would say I am now.
Yeah, I would say I am. I feel like I've always been kind ever since I was a little girl, just with a big heart. And I think growing up in the type of household and like with immigrants and all that, like seeing how the importance it is to be kind, even with language barriers or just because the way how you look. Like, I felt that growing up in that way, so like, why would I want to do that to anyone else? So just growing up with that whole kindness, and I think I just followed that out throughout my adult life too.
Of course, I'm happy the way I treat others. I mean, and it makes me happy knowing that if I can shed a little bit of kindness on somebody, it's not just that one person I'm affecting. It could be anybody that's close to them, or, you know, friends, family for them, or just a chain reaction to other people that I may never meet in my life.
Yes, that is something that I've been working on as well. I think that happiness really comes from within. So if you're kind to yourself first is when it can kind of reflect into the way that you treat other people.
Yeah, just throughout my career and through my life, I just learning and growing as a person, just it takes time, and you have to be nice to yourself as well as to other people.
100%. I think people really forget that when they hear kindness, they think of kindness to others. But I think being kind to yourself is so much, maybe not more important, but it's on a different level, definitely.
I'm fairly happy with the way I treat myself.
Yes and no. There have been points where like I'm not super kind to myself because like the way you look, the way you think other people see you. So like going like after pregnancy, like you change a lot. And physically I was not kind to myself because I was like, I don't fit in the same clothes I was wearing before, I don't look the same way I was before. In a way, like my body is wrecked, like it's totally different, and so adjusting to that and being kind to my new self and my new body, because I have to remember that like my body did something amazing, and like something really, really great came out of that. And the way that I changed all those marks, all the lines, everything, like it was worth it. Something beautiful came out of it, and I have to look at those changes as beautiful as well.
For me, I kind of, think of me very low. But, yeah, my friends have been telling me, like, yeah, you're not too bad, stop. Stop capping. I'm like,
Listen to your friends. I think they wouldn't lead you astray.
But yeah, I think that tends to happen to a lot of people. You're always the worst critic for yourself. And I try to work on it, and that'll just take some time.
To an extent, I probably could be kinder to myself. I usually don't cut myself enough slack. I usually dismiss my own accomplishments and my own successes based on those around me who have done better.
Yeah.
But I should probably treat myself a little better. But I guess we all got stuff to work on.
Yes, I treat myself nicely, but obviously I think there's times like, you know, you look at yourself in the mirror and there's always you can always say unkind words about yourself. So I think that's just a little bit of both in everyday life. You're kind to yourself, and then you're also unkind to yourself. So it's more like the battle.
Yeah, I would say the same. I would say majority of the time, yes, but I think it's in everyone's nature sometimes to see the imperfections in themselves too, and you probably say negative stuff to yourself about them. But at the end of the day, it's like the positive thoughts that mean more, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm still smiling, you know.
I think just being patient with yourself and like not being too hard on yourself, especially with like fitness, that's a hard part of it, right? Is like you're comparing yourself to other people on a constant basis. It's a competition at the end of the day. So I think just like being patient, taking your time with it, and like understanding that no one's perfect and you can try your best, but yeah, allow some leniency there.
I work out every morning, so that helps me mentally and physically. And I go for walks, and then in my spare time, I like to look up more stuff about animation and drawing, and just I really enjoy bad TV.
One of the ways I show kindness to myself is just by making sure I take care of like my health. So making sure like take care of my physical health. So make sure I get my workouts in, get outside, enjoy being outside, getting active, as well as just making sure like for my mental health that I'm taking care of that as well. So if I do like need a break, whether that's from work or just stress in life, I take that break so I don't just force myself to do something just because I need to do it. Make sure that everything is taken care of?
Accepting myself is a big one. Not putting too much judgment on myself. In a way, like just kind of abandoning judgment altogether. Like I'm trying to like take my soul, my body, my personality, everything in, and know that like I've worked so hard for everything that I am, and I should appreciate what I am versus what I feel like I could be. So
I like doing stuff for people. That's about it. I volunteer not every after work. That's too busy now. But before I used to just volunteer for temporary foreign workers, stuff like that, because I felt like what do you call this? I'm not lucky and blessed to be in the position where I am at, where I can offer my help, because we've been through that process for immigration. So I like using my position, I guess, not in position, but basically I'm in the position to help, kind of thing. So that's how I would help, is through volunteering.
I think it's just taking a step back from whether it's work, whether it's family, whether it's friends, and just kind of taking time to treat myself, and being able to kind of sit back and breathe and just be happy and not think about the stresses of life for a little bit, and say, hey, I'm doing all right. Whether it's, going to a movie, whether it's going out for a pint with my buddies, whether it's just doing the simple things that I love. I think it's good to show yourself that kindness.
At an age that's like so busy with like trying to kind of figure out where you are in your adult life right now, like taking the little moments to just do something that you need to do, like going to the gym or having self-care, like whatever it is, driving alone, can like really make or break your day, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just finding whatever makes you happy and makes you feel comfortable, and just feel seen again, and just like whole, like do whatever makes you do it. Either that's a drive, or get yourself a coffee, or just literally hang out with friends, whatever makes you feel kind to yourself.
Keeping myself positive. Keeping my hard on myself to a point where I know I can be better, but not hard enough where I bring myself down.
Honestly, I would probably say my mom. We've been through some stuff in the past, and I would say that, like, again, it comes down to understanding where the other person's coming from it, instead of just seeing it from like a personal aspect. Yeah.
For sure. I think that's like a really hard one. I know, like, me and my mom, I love my mom. She's such an amazing lady, but sometimes, like butting heads. I remember being like younger, and she was always like, oh, you need a jacket. Oh, what time will you be home? All this stuff. And I'm like, Mom, just let me live my life.
But again, when you see it from a different perspective, you see that it comes from a place of love, and that's it, right?
Absolutely. And now, like, having grown up, it's like, oh, I do need the jacket. Oh, I should let her know what time I'm going to be home.
It makes sense now, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Probably I would also say, like, my mom, because, like, there was times where I feel like I know everything, I was correct, so everything was all of my way or the highway kind of thing, and, like, that, as a teenager, that's how you feel. So, like,
as a teenager, you're invincible.
Exactly. And so, like, I was not always the kindest to my mom, and we butted heads a lot because I didn't want her advice, and I didn't want her giving me her advice, and I was not kind in the way that I didn't receive it. So I wish I would have handled that differently, but now, like, being on the other side of that situation, I've really been a lot kinder to her because I know how that feels now. So.
Yeah.
I would say mom. Yeah, lots of regrets for that one. I wish, what do you call that? Whenever she invites me to go for medical checkups, I still remember how I would react and be like, nah, it's too early, I can't. And then I'll do it in an angry manner. So, yeah. And then, what do you call that? There's definitely some stuff that you could think of, that I could think of. It's those things that you'll remember just before you go to sleep. I'm like, oh wait, this is awkward. I could have done this. I could have done this way better.
Yeah.
And then it won't make you go to bed. You just think of that all night.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's some stuff there, but that's one thing I can think of. I wish I was kinder to my mom.
Yeah, moms are amazing.
Moms are the best.
Yeah.
An old friend of mine who I don't talk to anymore, who I kind of had a falling out with. Not that I was not kind to them, not that I showed them any sort of rudeness or disrespect, but looking back, 2, 3, 4 odd years ago, I think I could have been kinder, and I think had I been kinder, I still might be in contact with them today, and I think that friendship could still exist today. But I mean, that's just life. You can't let that weigh you down.
Yeah, and everything happens for a reason. So when one door closes, another opens.
I feel like maybe growing up, I would say my mom, but that might just be like a teenage girl thing as well. But I think we definitely like butted heads, and luckily it turned into a great relationship. But I definitely could have been a nicer teenager, I think, to her.
I think being kinder to my cousin. I think because we just were the same age, did everything, we were in the same scene all the time, and there's a lot of that comparing with each other, and we were always unkind to each other at times. So I think it's if I could go back to younger me and fix that, but as being adults now, we've realized we were both harsh to each other at times, and it's just moving forward and just really accepting we're two different people, and she has her achievements and I have mine, and no one can measure that.
I would have to say myself on this one. Yeah.
I think in a lot of ways, to be honest, just doing more things out of just trying to help other people instead of being so selfish. I feel like nowadays it's so easy just to get caught up in what you're wanting and your goals and your future, and just kind of allowing yourself to do things for other people without, again, expecting anything back could really, I think, help the world in a huge way.
I think that kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier, of just people trying to think about what everyone else might be going through instead of being so focused on themselves that they forget that everybody else is human, everybody else makes mistakes, and that it's okay to fail, it's okay to show kindness and just be a good person.
Yeah. I think with COVID, a lot of people just because we were so isolated, they forgot how to act like a decent human being. So I think it's very hard to find someone who's genuinely kind. So I think you're 100% right with that.
I just think our world could use more kindness in just the everyday life. So just lots of those small acts of kindness, because I think lots of people don't realize that those small acts of kindness can sometimes have a big impact on someone's day. You never know if someone's having a bad day or what's going on in their life. So maybe you holding that door open for them, or in the winter maybe shoveling your neighbor's sidewalk, just could have a big impact on their day.
I think especially when the whole world shut down for a few years, we all lost touch with one another, and we all have this fear of other people and not wanting to interact or anything. So instead of even attempting to be kind, we just completely steer clear of one another, which is sad. So I think our world could use a little bit more interaction, whether it's even just holding the door open for somebody or something small, little footsteps in the right direction. But I do think our world is fractured a little bit in that sense, because being kind means getting close, and not everyone is willing to do that anymore, which is sad. So.
What ways? I think empathy. In order to even think about kindness, is we have to have learned the aspect of empathy. Imagine if you're in the foot of this other person. Imagine if you're in that situation, you would feel that kindness from somebody would be necessary for this. So I think empathy all throughout would be a good thing to basically show and do acts of kindness.
The golden rule is do unto the others as others would do unto you, I believe is what it is. And I think people just need to treat people like they want to be treated. And I think it's just,
100%.
it's simple, but it works.
Mhm.
You know, if people treated others the way they want to be treated, I think that would solve 90% of our issues that you see in day-to-day life.
So many ways.
Many ways?
I think there's like a lot of judgment, especially now with more minority groups than ever, whether that be like gender, race, LGBTQ stuff, that there's a lot of judgment that goes on around whatever an individual chooses to be. And I think it could all just be a little more kind to all of them. If it's not affecting you as an individual in your life, it shouldn't make a difference to you as long as everyone is happy with their own selves.
What's the question again?
In what ways do you think our world could use more kindness?
Yeah, you answered it pretty well. Yeah, I guess, yeah. I mean, like, I think kindness can be shown more often, like, with social media is such a big thing, a part of kids' lives. Like, you know, I think kids gravitate a lot to the internet, and then when they see a lot of unkind stuff, either that's just, like, through shows or, like, influencers, like, that impacts them. So I think, like, starting with those, like, TV shows and influencers, if they start showing more kindness, like, that can start getting through it now in our world.
In every which way?
Unfortunately, I think less. I think ever since COVID, it's kind of taken like a downturn. A lot of people are very negative with a lot of things. Social media is a huge aspect now too. I feel like kindness is very rare, which is sad. I mean, I hope that'll change, but that's kind of the path that I see it going down right now.
I'd like to believe it'd be more kind, but I don't believe that it will be.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. But no, I honestly don't believe that.
I think I'm hopeful that our world will get more kinder in the future, but in the current context, I think there's a lot of different people out there that have viewed their own like worldview, and they're pretty stuck in that. So if they see someone that doesn't align with them, they're not necessarily as kind or as nice as they should be. So I'm hopeful that our people, even though if they have different views on politics or just their different worldview, they can learn to be kind to and respect everyone.
I hope with the way things are going, we'll be more kind, especially because we have more anonymous or like easier ways to be kind. Like if you don't want to do it in person, like you can go online and you can donate money to a cause, or you can volunteer, like to donate items to a drive or something. Like if you don't want to like put yourself out there physically, there are other ways to do it. It's just wanting to do it. And even with like things like the Ukraine situation, like you saw so many people come together, and while they weren't like physically there, like the items, the clothing and everything. So I do think there is hope for kindness in the world, because when people really need it, they'll come together.
Ooh. Do we talk politics here?
You can talk whatever you'd like.
It's becoming pretty grim for our generation, honestly. Like, bad news all throughout. I'm pretty exposed to Western media, mostly US. You know, like, what do you call that? It's because the US influences too much. Even for Canada, it's like, what do you call this? It's the division of two political spectrums. Like, what? You know, like that creates that tension for somebody to just, you can't start a conversation without being too emotionally triggered or emotionally too defensive or anything like that. Yeah, I think it looks pretty grim, but I'm pretty hopeful. So that's one positive about our generation, is we're very into false confidence. Yeah, that false hope.
Yeah.
But I am genuinely hopeful that it's just gonna, it's gonna turn itself around, and hopefully people can see past differences and just be able to talk.
Yeah.
I think it'll be more kind in the future. I believe that as much as there are people who do wrong and people who commit wrongful acts, I think that causes people to also rise up and do kind things. And I think the more you do kind acts, the more others will want to do the same. And I think that there's more kind people in the world, and that population is growing. So I think we'll be more kind in the future.
Yeah, here's to hoping.
I want to say more, but unfortunately, I honestly believe it's going to be less, just a lot being with, the social media presence and stuff. It's easier than ever to judge other people and make comments that you can hide behind on a computer screen. And I unfortunately just don't see that slowing down.
Yeah, I think as much as I want to know that the future will be kind, I think it's hard to beat it when the internet's 24/7 on the go, and it's just unstoppable. There's so many hate groups out there and just so many different opinions that you can't stop the internet. So it's just unbeatable.
I'm hoping more kind. I'm hoping more kind in the future. Because as time goes on, we'll start to overwhelm ourselves with a lot of things, whether it's new industries, new productions, new people, harder jobs. And I think that's where kindness is going to play its biggest role, because it's like a showcase that you're not alone. So if anything gets hard, kindness will make you feel like there's people around you to support you, and you don't have to be afraid for that.
That's a good question. I would say whatever is meant for you will be for you. So any doors that are meant to open in your life will happen.
I would probably say during my high school graduation, our principal, he shared a quote, and it was, "Cleverness is a gift, kindness is a choice." So it kind of brings everything together for you guys. But I just thought that was really interesting, because it's a neat way to look at life.
Yeah.
I think the best piece of advice that I've received through my life is just to be nice and kind to everyone, because you don't know what is going on in their life or what they're dealing with. So just try to be as nice as you can to everyone you meet, and hopefully that will brighten their day and brighten your day.
It's not really advice, but it's something I say to myself all the time. And I'm not overly religious, but this one always stuck with me really, to this day. I say it every day. It's God doesn't give you more than you can handle. And so every time I'm feeling overwhelmed or anything, I always say that to myself and know that you can get through it. Everything happens for a reason, which is another very normal one that you hear all the time, but it definitely impacts me, and I say it all the time because you can always handle everything you're given. You just have to find a way through it. So
Okay, in the topic of kindness, I think this one really is relatable. You get, this might not be the exact expression, but it's somebody told me you get more flies with honey
Than you do with vinegar, right?
Yes,
I think that's what it is.
than you do with vinegar, or any other thing, right? Because if you approach everything with something that's sweet, it's kindness, then people are more willing to go on their way out above and beyond to help you out, instead of being not kind and being rude and whatnot. Because it's difficult to help somebody who is difficult to help.
Best piece of advice I was ever given. Damn. I think the best piece of advice I was ever given, can I give two?
Yeah.
Because there's two that really come to mind. One was always have a contingency plan, because things are never going to go the way you think. So you should always have You should always have a second round in the chamber just in case.
Yeah.
And I think a second one would be to enjoy the little things. That's no matter how heavy life gets and no matter what happens, you got to enjoy the little things and you got to find that joy where you can.
I think mine would be just to always put yourself in the other person's shoes. Whenever you're thinking something negative about something or someone else, try and put yourself in their position, because I guarantee they're most of the time probably not doing it on purpose or intentionally, and it's important to at least have sympathy for what they're going through, even though you may not even or always be able to understand it or really relate to it.
Yeah, I would say the same. Like, just, you know, protect yourself and, like, protect your own heart, honestly. Like, if you know you want to be treated nicely, like, you're protecting yourself, so project being nice to others for they can protect themselves, I think.
The best piece of advice I've ever received is, if you were offered $1 million tomorrow in cash, you get it and you could pay off anything, you could buy anything, but you wouldn't wake up, would you take it? And a lot of people will say no. So they're saying their day is worth more than $1 million. So I feel like if for that message, to me, it's like no amount of money is ever going to justify how my day should be and how I should be. So I feel like it's just good advice to know, like, that materialistic things aren't going to be the things that drive me.
I would say start with being kind to yourself first. Again, I don't think that you can pour from an empty cup, so I think that taking care of yourself internally first will allow you to spread that kindness into the world as well.
It's beautiful. Thank you so much for sitting down with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Be patient, be kind, and just love as much as you possibly can.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Brianna.
You're welcome.
I think the words that I want to just pass on to the next person is, it doesn't matter what is going on in your life or what's going on in the world, just try to be as kind as you can.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
It's like a hopeful sentiment, maybe. Like, I hope that you are having an amazing day, and no matter what is happening in your life, in the world, in any part of the universe, know that you are special and you are loved, and you can get through anything you need to. You can climb any mountain you want, because you are capable and you are strong.
That's amazing. So cute. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's gonna be cliche.
Cliches work. That's why they're cliches.
Yeah, that's cliche too.
You got me there.
Yeah. Be nice. Be the best version of yourselves. That's it.
Perfect.
I got no.
That's good.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
To the next person, do unto the others as you'd like others to do unto you. It's pretty simple, but it gets the job done.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Honestly, like, it might sound harsh, but, like, for myself included, just, like, do better. Like, just with the little things in life, just don't overthink them. Be a better person. Yeah. I think it's easier than we maybe make it out to be.
Mm-hmm.
What was the question?
What words of kindness do you want to pass on to the next person? You
No.
don't need to say, like,
I was gonna say be nice.
you can say that, that's fine.
Oh, be nice.
Awesome. Thank you.
Y'all are beautiful in your own way. Don't ever forget that.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Hey everyone, and welcome back. We are going to partake in our Project Kind by asking each other the questions that we've been asking everyone else. So we will start with not our names, nor telling a bit about ourselves, because hopefully you already know us. But just in case, I'm Bridget.
I'm Rochelle.
And we are known on here as the Berta Bound Besties, because that's our show. I don't know if we want to tell more about ourselves or just move on to the next question.
I think think they learned a lot about us the last time, but
Perfect. We did the interview before where you learned about us, so we're just going to move on to defining kindness.
So my definition of kindness, I feel like it's like the same for everyone. Like I'm very much like, you treat people the way you want to be treated. Kindness is there's a word I'm trying to think of, but no strings attached. You do it for someone else, you don't do it for yourself. And if you're doing it to get something in return, that's not kindness. So yeah.
I agree with your definition. It's so weird because when I think about this, I'm like, oh, it's just being nice. It's just being kind. But I'm like, that doesn't define the thing. Yeah. It's literally, I think it's putting other people's No, actually, I don't even want to say that because sometimes it's putting your needs first. This is hard. Yeah. Can't believe I've been asking people this. I would say, too, it's like being a genuine person and doing things honestly and for the best, I don't like that word either. I was going to say like for the best of the group, it's like teamwork. It's like giving yourself a break. It's like when the barista gives you a venti instead of a grande, like it's like good vibes. I don't know. Yeah, it's good vibes.
So, how do you see kindness in your day-to-day life?
I see kindness a lot in my day-to-day life. One of the other interviewees that we had talked to mentioned that it was everywhere, like kindness is everywhere and you can always find it. And I really, really liked that. It really resonated with me, as you can tell, because I'm bringing it up again. But I definitely agree. I think you can see it, when people hold the door open for you or when someone pays for your drive-thru order ahead of you, or even in like your family, when your sibling gets up to get you that glass of water that you want or anything like that. So it's kind of just everywhere. You just have to be in a space where you're able to open your mind to it. Because sometimes I know it's hard and easy to get stuck in like that negativity when you've had a bad day. Like that for me as well. Like especially when I'm hungry, I'm in such a bad mood and I'm such a mean person. So I really need to work on that, like as like for myself, just to like remember that kindness is out there.
Yeah. Kindness in my day-to-day life. That's a hard question because I think like anything could be considered kind. Do you know what I mean? So like someone opening the door, that's kind. In my day-to-day life, I think like kindness would be, I don't know, just small acts that might not mean like a lot to the person doing it, but like means a lot to someone receiving it, if that makes sense. So like, for example, like I'm a coffee drinker. So if my mom comes home from work and like surprises me with a coffee, like that's very kind and she didn't need to do that, but like it's something she does and it's really sweet and kind. So yeah, I don't know. It's definitely a hard question we've been asking.
All right, and the next question. Who is the kindest person you know and why do you pick them?
You can go.
Oh, I answer first when I ask a question? I should remember the system that we have going.
No, you usually switch, but I feel like it's just more natural to like...
to answer the question, then pass. KK. Definitely my mom. I think that's been every single person's answer so far, which I find so interesting. Like, it's just a mom thing.
It is.
It's just the motherly nature to be like nurturing and kind and genuine and warm, because that's everything my mom is. She is a superhero. I could not say enough about my mom. Like, no words are enough to describe how amazing she is and all she does. And yeah, I love her. I love my mom.
I love your mom too. I would say, my mom, she's an amazing woman. Like you said, like words don't even like describe how like outstanding my mom is. But yeah, she's a heart of gold. She's like one of the kindest people I know, if not the kindest. Yeah, she's super sweet. So, memorable moment in your life where someone was kind to you or provided kindness to someone else. I feel like, I don't know, like I'm a pretty like kind person all around. So when I think of like something specific, I can't really think of anything. There was actually you. So I was really sad. At the time, one of my friends was moving away, and I was very sad about it. And so Bridget came and picked me up, and she got me my favorite salad. She got me my favorite snacks, and she literally let me like cry. I was like ugly crying too for like the whole day, just like sobbing about my friend leaving. And it was very kind because she went out of her way. Like I didn't ask for it at all. Like she literally was like, "I'm coming to pick you up. Like, just be ready for this time." And I showed up in her car and she had everything. It was like the sweetest thing ever. So yeah.
I remember that distinctly, but what I don't remember is why it was your favorite salad. Like of all the things I could bring, I think that's just like the food maybe at the moment you were really into. Yeah, okay. Because I'm like, it's so random. Like favorite salad? Like interesting. I have like so many examples that like popped in my brain. One of the like foremost ones was I had a friend who every time I saw him, he would bring me a small little package. I love like sour candy, like Sour Patch Kids or Sour Cherry Blasters, like just Maynard's candy in general, or actually candy coated in sugar. That's like one of my big passions. But yeah, every time I saw him, he would always like have one for me. And like I don't know why, but like now that literally train me to like, you're my friend. We like hanging out. Yeah. But that is one that came to my mind. Yeah. I'm going to use that. How has your perception of kindness changed in your most recent years? Well, it's weird because I feel like I know mentally that I'm still really young because I'm only 22. But I feel like such a grown-up and feel so self-aware and like emotionally competent that I'm like, I'm so grown up. Now I like have figured it all out. I know there's still a lot of learning to do with in regards to all emotions and kindness as well. But I think the biggest change, like the biggest shift from when I was younger to now is just that kindness is everywhere and that people, even though it may not seem like they are doing something with kindness as the intent, words, wow, I suck at this. It may not seem like someone's doing something out of kindness, but a lot of the times people are trying really hard to be kind, and sometimes it just doesn't come across that way. So it's important to be kind and nice to everyone because you don't know what they're going through.
I think that's really important what you said because like one version, like everyone sees the world differently. So someone could be thinking that they're doing something kind in their eyes, then in someone else it's like not. I think my perception of kindness has changed for the worse. When I was younger, I think it's just like really naive of you to think that everyone's really nice, and it's not a safe world because like where we live is, I would say, pretty safe. But you're starting is with social media. It's hard not to see all the negative and all the ugly stuff. But like in my real life, everyone's really kind. So yeah, I think you kind of grow up and realize maybe not everyone is doing something out of the kindness of their heart. They're trying to get something out of it. So it's a sad thing to like realize, but you need to realize it.
And it's an interesting take on the question. I was just going to say it's an interesting take on the question too, because I think everyone that's answered it and my brain goes to like, oh yeah, I've grown up since being a kid, but there's definitely that aspect as well of like, no, like people used to be more nice in a sense, because like now it's like you can see through that and you can see when people are doing things, unfortunately, just to like get something out of it. 100%. Especially being like young women in the 21st century.
Yeah, 100%. So some people say that kindness is contagious. Do you think that's true? Why or why not? I would say yes. I know for me personally, like if I see someone, we're going to, like an example is someone drops their papers all over the floor, if I could speak properly. You see one person helping and you automatically want to go help and like So I think it is very contagious, and I think that's a really cute thing.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's definitely contagious. I've seen it too in like drive-throughs when people like pay for the person behind them. Then I feel like it becomes a system of like paying for the person behind you. Yeah, and so like I think that's a good thing. Like it's nice that kindness gets kindness and so on and so forth. Is it more difficult to be kind when someone is watching? I think it's the opposite. And I think a couple of people have brought that up in the interviews we've gone to, just because when people are watching, it's like, you know, you're on your best behavior. You want to impress the people that you're around typically and trying to be the best version of you so people have the best perception of you. But when you're on your own is, I think, when your true character shows and your genuine personality comes out, because then it's like, well, there's no one around to applaud you for doing something good. So it's your choice whether or not you do that.
I would say I find it easier to be kind by myself. Not easier, like I'm still very kind, but I'm going to use the example of giving money. If you've given money to someone who's in need, as soon as you hand that money over, you get someone, oh, well, you know what they're going to do with that money? And so a lot of people, yes, like bring out the good in you, or like, oh, I want to give, but like, I just think it's easier for me personally to like be by myself and be kind in some aspects. Just because everyone's going to critique you. And so then you're kind of like, you know what, I did something good. That's all I can do right now. And I feel good about it. So, you know, thank you. Did you answered that question, right? Okay, I'm like, what? So tell us about a moment where you wish someone would have chosen kindness. Do you have an idea of that? Okay, you can go first. I'm still thinking.
Oh, okay. So my usual job is teaching. I work for a couple different like theater companies and like teaching musical theater, like teaching acting to kids. And there have been instances in classes, you know that saying like kids are cruel. Unfortunately, like it's true sometimes. And so I've been in the situation before. I remember one moment specifically where a student was kind of like left out because he didn't really fit in with the other kids. And so instead of like changing the game and having him be involved, the other students were just like, well, you don't have to play with us. And I was able to like work it out so everyone could play together. But it was just in that moment of like just being like, oh, guys, come on. Like, and to them, it's completely not that they're being mean. I don't think they see it as like being mean. It's more so like, well, then you don't have to play. But like, I think like as a kid, being on the receiving end of that is a lot more difficult. So yeah, that was a little instance for me.
I can't really, my goodness, I can't really think of anything specific. But just a general kind of blanket. I think that people need to be kinder to fast food workers. Yes, and servers. As former or current fast food workers and servers, it's a cruel world out there. I've had people yell at me for like the smallest things, like ice cream being too expensive. And like, don't get me wrong, like completely understand, like a lot of stuff is getting expensive. But like, I had nothing to do with it. Like you yelling at like me for a price on the menu. Like I don't make the menu. Like, let's calm down. Or if like they mess up an order, I feel like people just don't show enough kindness to someone doing you a service at the end of the day. So I don't know.
I just want to like speak on that too, because I get so riled up for it. Because literally, like the person serving you the fast food, the person serving your table, they're not making an amazing wage. Like 9 out of 10 times, they're making minimum wage or lower than that. And without them, you wouldn't get your coffee in the morning. You wouldn't get your quick meal that you need before getting Jimmy to his soccer practice. Like they are doing, not like they're doing you a favor because I know it's their job, but like still, they are human beings who are doing a job, doing a service that you require. So just like check your privilege and remember that they're still people with feelings and ears. Like if you're talking bad about them, like they literally hear you. And just so everyone is aware, when you are at a drive-through window, they can still hear you even if they're not talking to you. Just so you know. That's all.
I think that's so funny because, like, I told my sisters that whenever we go to McDonald's, because we have, like, the weirdest conversations, and I'm like, they can hear all of this and are probably, like, laughing so hard. But are you happy with the way you treat others? Why or why not? I am. I think not to...
We just skip that one. We can go back.
I could have sworn that we did that one. It's fine.
You're killing it.
Yeah, I think I'm a very kind person, not to toot my own horn or anything like that.
Toot your own horn.
I like to treat people. My dad always told me, you know, you treat everyone with the same amount of respect, no matter if they're unemployed or like a CEO. So you will always get my respect. You might lose it, but I'm still kind. Like, I'm very nice to everyone. Don't really care who you are. Like, even if you're mean to me, I'm like, I'm gonna be nice to you because I know that you're gonna hate that I'm nice to you. So it's whatever. But yeah, I think I like the way I treat people.
Yeah, I like to think, I always tell my younger sister, because she's in high school, so, you know, it's like a lot of like drama here and now with friends. And so one of the things I always like to say was be friendly, but not friends. So that's kind of like the motto I live by, of like, be friendly to everyone, be polite, be nice, but you don't have to be best friends. You know, you don't have to be fake and like act like you love them. Like, just be kind, civil, like that's all you need. There are times though where I should be kinder. Like, I know sometimes I get upset, or when I'm hungry, I get really mean. So like, but I think for the most part, like, I would say I'm happy with the way I treat people, because same as you, I would like to think that I try to treat everyone with the same level of respect. If anyone's watching this and knows me and is like, oh my gosh, no, you don't, please, like, let me know. Literally, let me know if I'm an awful human being. Can you tell us about a moment where you wish you would have chosen kindness? Oh, I was supposed to answer it first, right?
Yeah, go ahead. If you have one.
I probably do. I just feel like I need to think. Do you have one, like,
Yeah,
off the
I
top?
have
Okay,
one.
perfect.
So I have an older sister. And if anyone has had an older sister, you know, you kind of like bump heads until you're like 14. And then for some reason you're like regular, like best friends. So my sister and I are very close, but we still like sometimes, like if we're just angry with each other, we can get like that really pettiness. And we got my dog. She was a little puppy. And this is such a stupid story. We needed to sleep downstairs with her because she was like crying and like being really annoying, just to make sure she was okay. And she said she was going to. And she didn't. And I was like tired as heck. Like, I literally was like sleeping like 2 hours because my dog wouldn't let me sleep. And I was like, I just need to sleep in my own bed. Like, I'm so sick of this. And so we had like a screaming match. I'm like laughing about it now because it's actually so funny and like so petty, but I should have just been like, you know what, whatever, like I'll just sleep on the couch, it's not a big deal. But yeah, I should have chosen kindness and I didn't.
That's so funny because like now I know your dog. Her dog's a lot older now, but I can just imagine. Poor Winnie. Just like in the middle of a screaming match. Yeah. She's like, what is going on? The first moment that comes to my mind is I was like 8 years of age or younger. I don't what years of age. Okay. I was like 8 or younger, and I told my mom I hated her. I don't even remember what happened. I was standing at this top. This is my house. I was standing at the top of the stairs right there, and she was down here, and I don't even know what she did, but I said I hated her. Or like, shut up, something like that. And then went to walk away and immediately turned around and like bawled my eyes out and was like, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean that. I don't know why I said it. But just like thinking before speaking and not letting, I don't want to say emotion take over, because anger isn't an emotion, it's a defense mechanism. I learned that from one of the teachers I had at film school. He had a PhD from Harvard in psychology and told us that anger isn't an emotion, it's a defense mechanism. So whenever you're feeling angry, yeah, right? Whenever you're feeling angry, you're not feeling angry, you're feeling another emotion that you're masking with anger, which I think is such a cool way of looking at it. Right? Because it's so true. Like, when people are angry, they're not angry. They're usually like frustrated or misunderstood, sad. Like, yeah, you can like break it down, which is really wild. But yeah, not letting your emotions, I don't know, not letting your feelings take over and kind of realizing what's real and what's kind of just in your head. But yeah. My turn again? Yeah. Are you happy with the way you treat yourself? Why or why not? Yes and no. I think I try really hard to treat myself with kindness, but I think I also should be better at that, because I know sometimes I'm usually really busy. I like to stay busy and have a lot to do, a lot on the plate all the time. And my mom always not makes fun of me, but is always like, you're getting sick because you're overworking yourself and your body needs a break, right? And I'm like, okay, ma'am, didn't need to call me out like that. But I mean, she's 100% right. So I think treating myself with more kindness of letting myself relax and having that downtime and not just kind of blowing through it, being like, oh, I'm fine, it's fine, we're fine. Yeah.
I never believed you when you said you got so sick from stress until that one time I was working 2 jobs and was literally working a month straight, and I was got every single illness under the sun, pink eye, it was so bad, random stuff. I would say yes and no. I think I've gotten a lot better. I think I can improve. One tip, this is for all of you watching, you think of yourself as a kid. So if you're going to say something something negative about yourself, or you're not going to be super kind about yourself, just would you want someone saying that to your younger self? And then you're no, that's so sad, I wouldn't want anyone to say that. Or how would that make your younger self feel? And it puts into perspective of how some of the things that you put on yourself is really just so minuscule and not important at all. So I think that really helps. But for the most part, I'm kind to myself. I'm getting better. So how do you show kindness to yourself? I give myself breaks, and I've been really good with saying no to when I don't want to do things, because I tend to be a very big people pleaser, which I do not like about myself. So now I'm really starting to try and listen to myself and be I don't want to do that. Actually, that doesn't sound fun to me, or that's not something I'd enjoy doing, and being I'm fine, I'm okay. Or I like going on walks. Walks are great. I always have music on. Music, really, something about music that I really like. Yeah, and I'm just very forgiving with myself too. If I don't get something done, I will be well, you know what? I didn't get it done, and that really sucks. But there's really not much I can do about it now. So I either find a solution or I don't worry about it. So yeah.
I think those are all really, really great things to do. I'm a big walk and music girly as well. Big walk and music fan. People pleaser. I also used to be the type that couldn't say no. I just felt so bad anytime I had to say no to anyone or anything. But now I'm still not the best. Sometimes I still don't, but I've gotten way better at being you know what, mentally I actually can't handle that right now, or based on my workload, unfortunately, we'll have to put that off a week. So I'm getting better, working on it, but giving yourself a break, going for a walk, listening to music, having activities that you enjoy just to enjoy, because I think that's another one, especially if you do a job that's a passion of yours, which I hope it is, because I wouldn't want anyone doing something that they don't enjoy. But especially when your work turns into something you're uber passionate about, then it can start to become really stressful, and that's no fun. You still need a break from that, even if it's a passion, even if it's something you really care about. But yeah. Moving on. Do you have someone in your life that you wish you were kinder to? At moments, it's literally just when I'm hungry. When I am hungry, I'm telling you, I've been coming back to it, but I don't know what it is. It's the change in blood sugar or something, but I'll just be really rude for literally no reason. And no one actually deserves that. So anyone who's spoken to me when I'm hungry, I'm sorry, because genuinely no one deserves that in their life.
The interesting thing, though, is she's not rude and throwing things. She's just quiet and is not as bubbly. And so the same thing happens to me, and my family's what's wrong? I'm literally nothing. Get away from me. And so it's not I'm just not hi, how are you? I'm just hungry. Who could I be kinder to? Yeah, I think I go through like the motions of who I could. I think maybe my younger brother. He's like, I'm like nice to him, but he like bugs me so much. Like anyone who has a younger brother, you know, like that's their job. And sometimes I'm just like, get out of here. Like you're so annoying. And I'm like, you're not though. Like, so yeah, my younger brother. Shout out Nick. Do you believe, oh no, wrong one. Yeah. In what ways do you think our world could use more kindness? I just think in every sense. I think compassion is probably the biggest thing that I think the world needs, especially after COVID. I think being stuck in your house just kind of desensitized you to everything. So everyone's just kind of like irritated and just want things right away, which like I understand to a certain extent, but also like let's calm down. But yeah, I think compassion is what the world needs.
Yeah, absolutely. I think all aspects could be kinder. Let's just be nicer. Let's treat other people the way we want to be treated. Let's not say things to people that we wouldn't want someone to say to us, you know? It's like that golden rule, like treat others the way you want to be treated. Yeah. Which is weird because it doesn't seem like a super hard concept, but for some grown-ups and people at times, it really is. Yeah, I think being compassionate and understanding, especially like in a work environment of like when maybe actually people in positions of power, like understanding that everyone is doing a job and everyone has an important job, and just being respectful of people, even if they're not necessarily at the level you think they should be or you don't deem them at your level, like just being a decent human being and like you said, compassionate. Moving on, do you believe our world will be more or less kind in the future? Why? When I first, because I think I wrote this question, yeah. When I wrote this question, I was like, absolutely more kind. 100% in the future, more kind. And then we've done a couple of interviews and people are like, no, I don't think the world will be as kind. And I'm like, I was like taken aback, but only because there's like that tiny part of me that's like, oh, I don't want you to be right. Like I really have faith in the world and in society and people that we will pull through, kindness will prevail, and the world will be great. World peace, woohoo!
So I don't think it's gonna get kinder as a whole. I think people, as we go and evolve as a society, you become kinder, but I think it's very much, someone said this in one of their interviews, it's kinder to the beliefs, to your beliefs, if that makes sense. And so if someone doesn't have the same beliefs as you, it's almost like that can just go straight out the window. So I think that aspect, we're not getting any better. I'd like to see that change. But like in overall, like people individually, I think people are getting a lot kinder. Even if it's just like small little things, I think I definitely see that in the world. So hopefully, hopefully that's world peace. Woo! Are we gonna do this one or do we? No? Okay, yeah. So what words of kindness would you like to pass on to the next person? Words of kindness. I don't know. Do you have something? I'll think of something.
I would pass on to the next person that I think it was from The Help. I think that was the movie I watched, but the main character, I'm pretty sure, when she put her daughter to bed, she would always whisper to her daughter, you is kind, you is smart, you is important. And I think that's really cute. Like, you're kind, you're smart, you're important. No matter how bad your day was or how much you wish you were somewhere else, you are fantastic, you look amazing, and I love you.
This, I don't know if you could kind of, I think this is words of kindness as soon as I explain it. But I was going to say it's not that important. And I know that might not sound kind in the moment if someone's like, oh, it's really not that important. But, like, I think that's very, like, when someone tells me, like, yo, like, it really isn't, like, a big deal if, like, something happens. Or, like, I'm an overthinker. And so I like to overthink and, like, stress myself out so much. And so if someone's like, it's like not a big deal, I just think I'm like, thank you. Like, you just take the weight off my shoulders, and like it kind of helps knowing that I'm just kind of like acting out and it's not a big deal. So yeah, those are my words.
Those were really good. It reminds me of, I heard this quote once that said, if it's not going to matter in 5 years, don't spend more than 5 minutes thinking about it. And I think that like really ties into what you're talking about of like, sometimes it seems like the end of the world, but if you can like take the step back and look at it from a broader scope, you'll realize it's not that important.
100%.